Great morning, great morning. Welcome back. You guys, it is another week. It is another week. We are back to Thursday. I hope everybody's had a great week so far. We are back to Thought Leader Thursday. For anybody who hasn't seen any of the previous videos, I just wanted to kind of talk about where this stems from. I've worked for a lot of leaders in different areas, mostly in the military, but even outside of the military, I've been around a lot of leaders. And even as being my own entity, I do contracting. And so I get contracted by, other CEOs and leaders. And so I see what works and I see what doesn't. And I'm able to really pay attention and kind of be an outside force to be able to say, you know what, this is where I belong and this is where I don't belong, right? So I'm grateful for the ability to be able to make my own choices now. I'm grateful to not have to stay in places that I feel are toxic to my own health, my own mental health. And I'm really just grateful for the ability to come on here and share some of the things that I've learned along the way. So definitely welcome. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, try to do some intro music. All right. So let's talk about what leadership is and why authenticity is so important. So I want you to think about some of the environments that you might be in now or that you've been in before. And, think about some of the things that you've seen that have worked and some of the things that you've seen that maybe didn't work. We can usually tell when people around us are starting to check out, when they don't feel fulfillment from what they do. We can usually tell. And as leaders, it's important for us to come in and be like, okay, what can we do to help these people feel more involved? I will say, when I meet a leader, if they are willing to tell me a little bit of their story and share a little bit of who they are, I it creates more buy-in for me. So I desire to be the same way because I know how that affects me. And so I want to make sure that the way that I carry myself and the way that I present myself can affect people the same way. Right. Now, are you going to create followership with everyone? Probably not. But you can create it with the people you're meant to create it with. Right. And that's how teamwork is fostered. That's how real teams get stuff done. All right. So, definitely welcome today. We're going to talk about leading authentically and the importance in modern leadership. Um, my name is Jody Watkins, for anybody that doesn't know already. And I am an Air Force veteran, an author, and a speaker. And I'm also an executive health coach. So, what does that mean? I help business owners be the best versions of themselves. And it's mostly women that I work with because we just kind of get each other, I think. And we go through some different things. I think for a lot of times, we are brought up to be the people who kind of take care of every situation. Um, and not to say this isn't men also, I'm just talking about my own upbringing and what I've seen and come in contact with a lot just in my life. I come in contact with a lot of women who carry a lot of shame and guilt and overwhelm. It's easy to fall into the people pleaser stage, and that's something I always say. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Um, and it is very easy to kind of get sucked into that and then forget about ourselves. So I do a lot of health coaching in that area just to help these women kind of unleash their true ability and become the best version of themselves. The way that plays into leadership is a lot of these women are leaders, right? Now, leadership can look different. It can be parenting, it can be in a corporate setting, it can be having your own business and running teams, right? So, all of these things become impacted if we are not feeling good from within. So, we have to be able to learn how to be more authentic and share our story, but we have to heal from within to be able to do that. And we have to get around people who kind of help us get there. Most of us don't wake up knowing how to share our story right off the bat. Um, that's one of the reasons why I am a part of an amazing resource called Commune Communities, because we help each other and we show up authentically, if I can talk, and we support each other and we help each other tell our stories. We have an amazing leader there, and he helps us all tell our stories. He helped me tell my story. So as I was learning how to heal from within, working with him, I was able to learn how to tell my story a little bit better. So I always say, make sure you keep yourself around people that are good in different areas, and that help you become a better person. And as long as we continue to do that, the better we get, right? Okay. If you think about some of the leadership that you've had in the past, some of the leaders, who were some of the best leaders in your life? Was it people that kind of, for lack of better words, fake the front? Or was it people who, shared who they were, and got to know people and listened to people? Think about it. Who were the better leaders? I know for me, I always gravitated more towards those who were open and honest, and also who heard me, right? If I didn't feel heard, I usually kind of strayed away from those people, right? Because I didn't feel supported. And if we don't feel supported, that's an issue too, right? So we have to make sure that the people around us are encouraging us and empowering us and supporting us, because if they're not, that's not the healthiest environment to be in, right? So think about some of those leaders that have had a positive impact on your life and maybe not so positive, right? Because also the leaders that don't have a positive impact, they teach us something, right? So even a lot of the leaders that we had, in my upbringing through the military, some of them were not so great, but they taught me what I did not want to be, right? And even in organizations outside of the military, I've been involved with some organizations, since I've gotten out of the military. And, there are some where the leadership is great, and there are some where the leadership is not so great. You know, I don't align very well with people who don't have big visions. I finally have worked my way up again with the people that I'm around. I'm grateful for them, but I finally worked my way up to be, a person with a big, huge vision, and that was not something that I possessed a long time ago. So I can't go backwards, right? I have to make sure that anyone I come in contact with, anyone I'm around a lot, has a big vision too. Because if they don't and they start limiting me, I struggle mentally. And that's when I'm like, I can't do this. So again, I'm grateful I have the ability to do that. And there are plenty of people that stay in situations and positions that they're not so fulfilled in, just because that's what society teaches us that we're supposed to do. But I want to challenge everyone who either watches this later or comes in contact with it at some point. I want to challenge you to pay more attention to your surroundings. And if you're not feeling fulfilled, start looking for something else. I know that's difficult, and I know, it's easier said than done, but I also know I've had to do it. And, it did bring on some hard times, especially financially. But I will say, looking back now, I'm grateful that I did it, you know? Because what happens is when people think you need them, they can take advantage of you. So we have to get to a point where we value ourselves, and we don't allow other people to think that we need them so much that they can control who we are, what we do, and, what we're able to be. So yeah, I always say I'm trying to be a better version of myself, and I'm trying to be who God created me to be. And I can't do that if I'm around people who are limiting me. We're just not meant to be that. So I have to be around people who value me just as much as I value them, and it has to be a reciprocal relationship. All right. That's authentic leadership. That is what we should desire to be around. All right. So, some of the challenges that are faced in maintaining authenticity as a leader include feeling judged by others. Okay, I've had this conversation a couple of times over just the span of the last few days. And, a lot of times it's, well, I can't really show up as myself because, this person judges me or that person judges me. And so what I tell people is stop worrying about everybody else. That's something that I did as a kid and I did it all the way up through adulthood. But I had to really get to a point where I had to stop doing that. We cannot live from other people's limitations and standards. We're going to get judged regardless. Newsflash. And I'm learning that more and more now as I am stepping into who I feel like I'm supposed to be, right? Some people are like, well, why are you talking about leadership when you have a health and fitness company? Well, because I have a health and fitness company and I have to lead teams, right? I'm not just one thing, I'm multifaceted. And when we are multifaceted, we have to be around people who, foster all of those things. So that's why I talk about leadership because we have to be willing to be vulnerable and authentic in order to gravitate, have the people around us that we're meant to have around us. And that's clients, customers, it doesn't matter. I'm not meant to serve everyone, but I want to make sure that the people I am serving are in alignment with who I am and I'm in alignment with who they are. All right. So we have to make sure that the people around us are, fostering all of that. That's why I talk about leadership because it is super important. We all should be talking more about mental health, leadership, authenticity, vulnerability, because we have to make it okay. There's no reason why somebody should have to go to work and close off who they are. But I know I had to do it in the military, and most of us did. But there's no reason we should have to do that, you know? And what happens is society teaches us how to be fake, and then we crash and burn because we're putting so much time and effort into being what everybody else wants us to be instead of who we're meant to be, right? So, what are some strategies for cultivating authentic leadership? Show up who you are, talk about it, bring the company in, bring your employees in, and have some small group sessions, right? And talk about, what's going on in your life? How can I help you? You know, how is this position helping you? Is there anything else that you're looking for? Like when I've brought on coaches in the past, I'm always looking at, the future. Like, hey, what are you looking to do in the future? Are you looking to kind of be more in a management position? Are you, is this what you just want to do? And nothing, there's no wrong or right answer, right? But we have to learn people. We have to learn the people who are, coming up underneath us, and we have to learn how to lead them in the right direction, right? And that takes getting to know them. All right. Authentic leadership does foster trust and loyalty. Those are two things that we must have with the people that are around us. But we also have to balance vulnerability and strength. All right. I get told that I'm kind of like an egg with a hard shell, but sometimes a mushy center, right? And not too many people are going to get to know the mushy center, but I'm always going to show up as who I am, right? I'm not trying to, be someone just because I think other people are going to like me better. I've done that enough in my life. So I don't do that anymore, you know? And so I think it's just important that we balance the vulnerability. I mean, obviously, as leaders, coming in crying every single day is probably not going to be the best way to go either. So we have to really balance the vulnerability with the strength. Some days we're going to have it all, some days we're not. And that's when we should be able to rely on our team members and say, hey, I need you to step up today. I got this going on. And you don't have to go into detail of your life, but, share who you are. I mean, it's just I talk about social media all the time. Social media is such a highlight reel, right? Are we really sharing who we are, or are we just putting on a front for everybody else? As leaders, we have to be asking ourselves the same question. Are we sharing who we are, or are we just putting on a front for everybody else? All right. So I'm going to give you a few case studies. I mean, I want to think about some amazing leaders that kind of stand out to me. You know, we got Dr. Martin Luther King. He created buy-in. He was able to encourage and empower other people. You got Oprah Winfrey. She's the same way, very authentic, very vulnerable, but not over the top. So she's able to create, there's people that want to be around her, and that's what we need, right? As a leader, that's what we have to have, people that want to be around you. They see who you are, and they want to know more, right? Steve Jobs was one. He created teams and led from the front, but was very authentic, but also, allowed the teams to operate in their gifts. Apple listened to the customers. What does the customer need? There's no point in us creating anything if they don't need it, right? Same with what I do. You know, I know that people want a quick fix, but what they need is optimal health that will last them the rest of their lives. Now, is that going to take more effort? It is. Is it a little bit more challenging? Yes, indeed. But is it impossible? Not at all. Patience pays off. What we're willing to work for will reap better results, right? So think about these things. All right, so let's look at a couple more. One is the Whole Foods Market. Um, this is a natural and organic grocery chain, has been renowned for its commitment to authenticity and leadership. All right, the company's co-founder and former CEO, John Mackey, has fostered a culture, think about that word, culture, of transparency, ethical practices, and servant leadership. All right, what is servant leadership? Servant leadership is basically leading, to serve. How can I serve you? How can I help you? Right? But we also have to be able to pour into ourselves. So I usually tell people, hey, before you go to where you have to serve other people, make sure you filled your own cup up, because you can't really serve other people correctly if you're struggling. Okay. And that's why I said it's great to have people around you where you can say, hey, I don't have it in me today. Is there any way you can step up and take over whatever it is? Right. We all need those types of people. And if we're being the leaders that we're meant to be, we are already fostering certain people around us to be able to step up when we need them to. We should be able to have at least one or two people that we can delegate to. Right. Let's look at Netflix. Netflix, everybody knows Netflix, right? It's got a unique corporate culture that encourages freedom and responsibility. And under this case study, it says under the leadership of CEO Reed Hastings, Netflix has embraced an authentic leadership style that empowers employees and emphasizes transparency. All right, and as a result of that, Netflix, their authentic leadership approach has transformed the company into an industry leader. All right. So think about the companies that are really thriving, and take a look at their leadership, right? So they encourage open communication, individual empowerment, and the organization has attracted top talent and maintained a high level of innovation. Their focus on authenticity has translated into successful collaborations and creative freedom within the company, leading to a steady stream of groundbreaking content and a loyal subscriber base. All right. We could go into some more, but those are a couple of case studies that, these corporations are really thriving, and it's not because of necessarily what they have, right? It starts from within. So they start within the corporation, with the employees, with the people, with the teams. They start there. And as they're picking those people up, right, and allowing them to operate in their gifts, everything else kind of comes together. All right. So think about these things. All right. How do we start cultivating authentic leadership? Well, it starts with us, the leader, healing from within. If there's anything that we're carrying, any kind of animosity, any kind of resentment, shame, guilt, any of those things, we have to heal those things before we're really going to be able to show up authentically for everyone else. Hire a coach, hire somebody that can help you. I have coaches, I have therapists, right? Hire someone who you're in alignment with and who can help you tell your story and be more authentic. That's important. All right. So I just want to thank you for coming on here. Please share this with anyone else that you know that may need to hear it. And we will continue these conversations. I am open to having guests. So if you'd like to be a guest on here, please let me know. It's great to talk to myself, but I like to talk to other people too. All right. So if you'd like to be a guest on here, please let me know. We're doing this every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, make sure you go check out go to my link tree and go to my community, and you will see the group Authentic Leadership. And there's going to be some more stuff in there too. All right. So definitely come alongside, join the conversation, be part of the discussions, and let's build authentic leaders all over the place. Have a great day.